Ready?
I'm ready. I got nothing to do.
Groucho, I'd like you to meet Mildred L. Gilmore and
Why?
Well, it's sort of customary that you meet the people on our show.
Yeah, but why do you like for me to meet them? How do you know I want to meet them? This is preposterous, the whole thing.
It is?
Why don't you say I want you to meet them? Make believe you're the boss.
All right. Groucho, why don't you meet these
Square
people?
those padded shoulders.
Would you people come in and meet Groucho, please?
Welcome to Your Bet Your Life. Say the secret word and divide an extra $100. It's a common word, something you always have with you. Well, I guess I better find out how tall you two are. Your name is Mildred?
That's right.
How tall are you, Mil?
I'm 5'10" and a half, and my stocking feet stand about 6 foot with shoes on.
And you?
I'm about 6 feet 9 in stocking feet.
Do you always wear stockings? Take them off when you go to bed?
Nope.
Small-town Gary Cooper here, huh? Aren't you a little skinny for your height?
Yep, I guess so. I weigh
Hey, you're supposed to be kicking something, aren't you?
weigh 190 pounds, and I guess I should weigh about 250. That makes me 60 pounds underweight.
Who are you looking for up there? You say your name is Hugh Langtree, is that right?
That's right.
That's an English name, isn't it? You know, there was a very famous English actress named Lillian Langtree. She was known as the Jersey Lily. Very famous actress years ago. And you know, my brother, Harpo, he was a bellboy at the Seville Hotel in New York, and she was living there. And she used to give him 2 bits every morning for walking her hound around the block. This is true. It's not very interesting, but it's true. Well, are you related to the dog that Harpo walked around the block?
No.
Are you related to Mrs. Langtree?
No.
Are you related to my brother Harpo?
No.
You're very lucky, because I am. Will you stand by you? By the way, how's the weather up there?
Well, sir, when people ask me questions like that, I'd say hot air rises and it's getting awful warm in here.
I hope there's something personal in that. You know, did you ever hear Bob Shaver, the playwright? He wrote many of the great plays, Petrified Forest, and many others. And he was a friend of mine, and he was 6 feet 6. And he was real skinny. And I used to kid him about his height, you know. I'd say to him, Bob, what do you say when people ask you how the weather is up there? He'd say, well, I always spit in their eye and tell them it's raining. You can use that now. Mildred, that's you. Huh?
That's me.
Where are you from, Mildred?
Well, I was born in Renville, Minnesota. That's a small farming town.
Are you married?
No, I'm not.
You're not. Don't tell me you have to work for a living.
Well, I'm a practicing attorney, and I also own and operate the Gilmore Bureau of Investigation, which is a detective agency.
Well, you haven't got a thing on me. I'm innocent. I'm innocent. I'm innocent. You're a female private eye?
That's right.
You can't be. Where's your trench coat?
Well, if anybody wore a trench coat that worked for me, I'd fire them.
Oh, well, how'd you get to be a lady gumshoe? Is that what
Well, no. Lady Private Eye would be better. Well,
That'd be a good name.
It's a long story, and I don't know. Do you really want to hear it?
Frankly, no. I wouldn't mind hearing it if you could make it real brief.
Well, perhaps I could.
Well, let's have it then.
Well, I first went to work for the Broadway department store because they had a lot of shoplifters.
And how many shoplifters did they have?
Oh, lots of them. I caught as many as 13 in one day.
What were these crooks stealing? Pianos?
Well, that's
Air
about the only
conditioning
thing
units,
that's the only thing I remember that they didn't steal was the pianos.
Really?
I remember one woman that stole a whole dinner set of 12. Took one piece of this dinner set each time she came in.
Well, that was very nice of her, I think, not to take a whole set at once. And finally, she had a whole set for 12 people?
Well, not quite, because on the 12th one I got her.
Oh. No, I'm sorry to hear that. You probably ruined a wonderful dinner party for her. Now, Hugh, can you hear me up there?
Yes, sir.
How's the weather up there?
Just spit in your eye and say it's raining.
He knows it already. What kind of work do you do, you?
I'm a cowboy.
Cowboy, yeah. Well, can you ride a horse? Don't your feet drag if you ride a horse?
Let's say if I was bronc riding, I hadn't got far to come up.
Are you married?
No, sir.
Well, why not? A good-looking young fellow like you?
Well, thanks, but I don't like to put all my eggs in one basket.
Why do you call these girls eggs? Are they usually fried, most of them? What kind of girls do you like, particularly, you?
Well, I'd mostly like a girl that looks like a quarter horse rather than a thoroughbred.
Well, why do you want a quarter horse?
Well, I'd say the difference mainly between a quarter horse and a thoroughbred is simply the thoroughbred is awful good-looking and has long limbs and nice muscling and fine conformation and
Kiss
finish.
me, you fool, huh?
Sometimes it can turn out to be the meanest, orneriest, roughest critters you've ever seen. On the other hand, why, a quarter horse is the essence of docility. It's a noble animal. It's hard-working. It's enduring, and you can all go an awful long way with it.
Well, what you actually want is a slave. Well, Millie, let's get some more dope on your life as a private eye. What kind of crooks do you usually catch?
Well, we place people under surveillance to find out where they go and who they contact. Occasionally we do roping work, which is having the investigator get acquainted with someone and become quite friendly so that they can find out what that person knows.
Well, just how friendly do you get with these thieves?
Well, one of our employees got so friendly with the man that she was sent to investigate that she married him, and he don't know till this day that was the reason that she came to see him in the first place.
Hear that, girls? Now, one more thing, Mildred. Do you use any Dick Tracy type equipment when you're working on a case?
Oh, yes, we use all the new scientific equipment, such as wire and tape recording. Some of the equipment is quite small and one can't see when it's placed. Or small cameras where a person doesn't know they're being photographed. Or fingerprint material, for instance, where the person doesn't know their prints are being taken.
Well, Mildred, you know, that's all old hat, all that kind of stuff. The crooks today are wise to all those tricks. No, you've got to do better than that. You've
Well,
got
I
to
don't
get
know.
something newer.
Would you like to see? I have been taking down everything you've said so far. Yes, in here.
Here's a cigarette.
Well, the cigarettes have nothing to do with it. I just carried those, but that's the sound.
Is this a microphone?
Yes, that's microphone, and this is the sound equipment in here.
What else have you done behind my back?
Well, I took your photograph so I could prove you were listening to it while you were doing that.
You took my photograph?
Yes, this is a small camera, so I took your photograph with it.
Oh, well, how much are they a dozen?
Well, perhaps if they turned out right, why...
Look at the size of this, eh? Can you imagine that, taking a picture of that?
Could I have it?
I'm certainly going to be more circumspect in the future.
You see, now we have your fingerprints, too.
This is the last time I do this show without gloves. Well, you're an interesting couple, crooked, but interesting. Now you selected world history. I'm going to ask you some questions. If you miss 2 in a row, you're out. If you get 4 in a row right, you win $1,000. Now, in 570 A.D., a great religious leader was born in Mecca. What was his name? What is it?
Mohammed?
You don't have one right.
Now, what modern country formerly was called Persia?
Iran.
Well, you did? Well, let's see you.
You don't have 2 right.
Josephine was Napoleon's first wife. Who was his second wife?
Desiree?
Desi who? Desi Lou?
Desiree?
No, it was Maria Louisa. All right.
Well, at this point, you have 1 wrong. Don't get the next one wrong, or the game is over for
Now,
you.
what British general defeated Napoleon at the Battle of Waterloo?
The Duke of Wellington.
That's right, the Duke of Wellington.
You now have 1 right.
Now, what French cardinal served as chief minister to Louis XIII and completely dominated the government?
Richelieu.
Richelieu is right.
You now have 2 right.
Napoleon escaped from what island?
Elba?
Elba. I thought he escaped from a pastry shop. Now, who was the monk who had a lot of influence with the last Russian royal family?
Rasputin.
Rasputin. Now, how's the weather up there?
That's perfect! You're great, kid.
Wow, You got 4 in a row right, and you win $1,000.
Now you won $1,000.
Terrific. Oh, it could be better.
I think we better get him going.
She says I better get him a horse because he's squeezing her too hard. Now you won $1,000. You can keep it and quit, or else you can come back later and try to double your money. You may even get a crack at $5,000 or even $10,000. So go over there and sit on your horse and think it over. And thanks for being on the show.
Adios.
Adios. What is your category? Oh, yeah, I thought you were one of the contestants.
Groucho, Anna Melchizedek, and Mr.
What's your language,
Mr. HG Morton are waiting to talk to you, so folks, come in, please, and meet Groucho Marx.
Welcome to your Bet Your Life. Say the secret word and divide an extra $100. It's a common word, something you see every day. HG Morton and Anna Melchizedek. Is that how you pronounce it?
No, Melchizedek.
It says here Melchizedek.
Well,
What
whatever
kind of a name is Melchizedek? Irish?
No, it's, in my case, it's an Armenian name, but it's a Bible name from the Old
really?
Testament, yeah.
Well, are you from Armenia?
No, I'm from Copenhagen.
If you're Danish, why do you have an Armenian name?
Well, I met my husband here in California, and he was born in a little town named Skanderun that was on the Turkish route.
Oh. And you're H.G. Morton, is that right?
Yes, Mr. Marx.
Now, what do the initials stand for?
Hugh Gregory.
What do you want me to call you? H.G.?
Well, the middle name is Gregory. I suppose Greg.
Oh. Now, what do you do for a living, Mr. Morton?
I'm a management consultant, Mr. Marx.
Yeah, just call me Big Daddy.
It's a firm called Challenge Associates.
What kind of a racket is that? That sounds pretty evasive.
Well, we try to improve the performance of employees by motivating them.
What do you mean, discharging them?
No, by causing them to work at a higher level of efficiency. It's essentially an employer-employee relations situation.
I'd like to see how you operate. I happen to be an employer, too, you know. And my relations with one of my employees could stand some improvement. How would you suggest I improve my relations with Fenneman?
Well, I'm not sure what his... he's the announcer, is that correct?
Well, that's putting it loosely, yes.
Well, if he does an outstanding job in a program, or 2 or 3 programs...
He's outstanding right there, right now.
I mean, on the stage, so that the audience really responds to him, you ought to give him some recognition. You ought to recognize this good performance. Then he will be more highly motivated and do a better job.
I see. Well, that sounds interesting. Now, is there anything else I can do for him?
Well, another thing that people need is a chance to express themselves in their work. Now, Mr. Fenneman ought to be able to participate in the programming and deciding what he's going to say and what he's going to do. In other words, participate in the program to a greater extent, and then he'd be more highly motivated.
In other words, what you want to do is get him my job, is that it? You know, I would do anything for good old George, anything to make him happy. Now, is that all there is to it, what you just said?
Well, one of the biggest needs for people is for economic gain. If Mr. Fenneman does an extremely good job for a series of programs, you ought to recognize it in a financial, tangible way, like giving him some money, for instance.
Look, when I want your advice, I'll ask for it. How long have you been married?
I'm not married, Mr. Marx.
Not married, a young, handsome, personable-looking fellow like you? How old are you?
35, sir.
35 and not married, eh? Well, that's quite an achievement. I thought you looked shifty when you came up here. Why aren't you married? Are you just a plain coward?
Oh, no, I think it's a great institution, Mr. Marx.
Yeah, and you don't want to be in one, I know that. Have you given much thought to marriage?
Oh, yes, I've given it a lot of very serious thought, sir.
And does that explain why you're still single? Well, give us some ideas of what you would want in a girl.
Well, I think it ought to be a lady that's physically attractive.
A lady you want, huh?
I believe so. I think they sound interesting.
A woman sounds more interesting, believe me. You can have more fun with a woman than you can with a lady.
And someone that is perhaps home-centered, interested in the home, and is going to consider marriage a profession, just like a man does his business.
Do you honestly feel your wife should spend all her time at home scrubbing, sewing, cleaning, and cooking, and griping?
No, not all the time, Mr. Marx, but actually running a home is a very difficult job if it's looked upon as a profession. You have interior design, the correct preparation of the cuisine in the home,
Is your cuisine going to live with you there? We used to call it grub where I came from. Cuisine is a pretty Tony word for grub. Eh?
But it's actually, can be a profession just like the husband's job is. Women are awfully superior these days.
Yeah.
I think
In what way?
Well, my goodness.
You mean they live longer?
Well, that's being superior, I suppose. But no, I was really being real serious, Mr. Marx. I think it's a great problem we have now. Women are running everything.
So what? You still want to get married, don't you, and raise a family?
Well, first, I think we men have to do something about it, though, and
So what do you propose
change this
doing?
situation. We have a very constructive program that I'd like to tell you about, Mr. Marx. Is that all right?
I'd be very interested in listening to it.
We call it the Soda Woe Society.
The Soda Water Society? Well, that's good. What's the Soda Water Society?
Well, it's the SO for society, and the DO for the domination, and the WO for women.
You don't have to...
Society for the domination of women.
Well, now, what is this society? I mean, do you pay dues?
No, it involves the disenfranchisement of women. We feel that to get them out of politics, you ought to take their right to vote away.
Those are the men booing. Well, let's have some more. What are some of the other planks in this platform?
Actually, you have quite a financial problem when you marry these days, and we want to bring back the dowry, so that when you're married, you will receive a dowry upon your marriage.
What are some of the other planks?
Well, we want to raise the entrance requirements in the colleges and universities that are supported by taxes, raise them for women and lower them for men, so that the women will be kept out of areas of higher education and become less intelligent, less knowing, so that the man really can be superior.
I see. Well, it's easy to understand why you're not married. The fact of the matter is, I'm surprised that he's still alive. Well, are there any more planks of this thing?
Well, in the controlling of the...
What about whipping the women? Don't you have any...
Well, in a way you can do it if the man controls the purse strings in the family. It's a very awful situation. You find so many men work so hard and they're so busy they give up the budgeting. So the woman controls the money in the family. I think the man ought to reestablish his control in this area and run the money, handle the money.
Well, the best way is to get the money and not come home at all. Do you really believe all this that you've told me, H.G.?
Very much, Mr. Marx.
Well, I only want to ask you one final question. Are you stewed? No, I'm sure he's not. I'm sure some of the things he says make a lot of sense. Well, some of the things he says, I think if the man does the work, he should control the purse strings. Because after all, he has to pay the tax. Now, what about you, Anna? Are you married?
Yes, I am, Groucho.
Do you subscribe to any of his philosophies?
No.
See what you're up against, Greg? My advice to you is to forget the Soda Society. Is that the name? Soda?
Soda Woe, Mr. Marx.
Soda Woe Society. And I would join the Elk Club if I were you. They have very good cuisine there. Well, you're an interesting and disconcerting couple, and I'd like to continue talking to you, but the time has come for you to win some money. So let's play You Bet Your Wife. You're off. You selected United States geography. I'll ask you some questions. If you miss 2 in a row, you're out. If you get 4 in a row right, you win $1,000. Ready? In what state would you find Mobile Bay?
Alabama?
Yeah, it certainly is. You go look for it. You'll find it there.
You have one right.
Now, in what state is the Grand Canyon National Park?
I know that.
If you don't know,
Nevada?
guess. What's that?
Wyoming?
Now, one answer between. No, it's too late. The bell is done. Talk to him, George.
Well,
Don't stand there in a stupor. Now you know why I cut his salary.
Well, after what you've done for me, I hate to say this, but you have one wrong.
Well,
Where is the Grand Canyon, sir?
I don't know. It's in Arizona.
Thank you.
St. Augustine is the oldest town of European origin in the United States. In what state is St. Augustine?
Florida.
That's right. It's something around where Ponce de Leon went somewhere around there, wasn't it?
Yes, sir.
The highest waterfalls in the United States are in California. What is the name of the highest waterfall in the country? In the entire country.
Yosemite?
Yosemite Falls is right.
You don't have two right yet. The next two right, you'll have $1,000.
Did you know that? Yosemite Falls all the time. Now, in what state are the Catskill Mountains?
New York?
That's where all the cats come from, yes.
You now have three right. Get the next one right, and $1,000 is yours.
In what state is the United States Naval Academy located?
Maryland?
Maryland, my Maryland is absolutely right. You won the money.
Four in a row, you got $1,000.
Now, you've won $1,000. You can keep it and quit, or else you can come back and try to double your money. You may even get a chance at $5,000 or even $10,000. So go over there and sit down and think about it, and thanks for being on the show.
Yes, sir, Mark.
George, what have you got to report?
Oh, Mr. Morton says that he will come back next week and defend his opinions about women if necessary. However, tonight he and his partner have decided not to try for the big money. Hugh Langtree and Mildred Gilmore do want to come out and tell you their decision.
Splendid. Wheel 'em in. Say, how's the weather up there? Now, you won $1,000 so far. If you decide to try for the big money and you fail, you wind up with a total of $500. Now, what are you going to do?
We're going to try for the big money.
You're going to go ahead. Now, that's positive thinking. Now, you know you get to pick two numbers. You go ahead and pick the first number for $10,000. That one will go over here, and I'll explain it as we go along. What number?
7.
Now, what number do you want for $5,000?
5.
Put up a 5 on the other side. Now, if any other number, but these two comes up, this question is worth $2,000. Ready? Give it a spin. Under the Truman administration, Pearl Mester received widespread publicity when she was appointed minister to a small European country. For $2,000, tell me the name of the country to which Pearl Mester served as United States minister. Talk it over. What's the answer?
Luxembourg.
Luxembourg is right. You win. Well, you won $2,000. What are you going to do with all that money?
Oh, I think I'll go around the country and see what other detective agencies are doing to make money.
Oh, you're just going to spy on them now, huh? And you?
I'm going down to Mexico.
Get a girl and get married.
I've got a good quarter horse. This is the best hay-making horse I've ever had in the world.
Well, then tail her around the country, that's all.
Good.
Well, thanks and good luck, and I'm glad you won the money.
Thank you.
I'm still going down to Mexico.
Good.